You guys, let's get right into the live. And I felt this silence. I knew I loved you so. When I felt this silence, I knew I had to go. Breaking away from what I was afraid of for so long, for so long. And breaking away from what I was afraid of. But I was strong, but I was strong. So speak now. Oh, your peace. So speak now. And forever hold your peace. So you guys, I want to say welcome to the live. You guys know how wonderful I think you are. It's only the most beautiful people that come to Model Poetry and that go to modelpoetry.com. It's amazing what's happening there. Those that are visiting the site, you guys know that we're just really for celebrities, people in the public eye, leaders. Those are the people who really watch our show and listen to our lives and just connect with us. Million followers, 300 million followers, or 3 followers, or none. It's just a place where people who think differently gather. Model poetry, so much. I want to get into a few topics today, but I stepped in to what I know. I simply loved you. I stepped in to what I know, and I simply loved you. I felt each step, I held each word, I understood. I walked along, and that was good. So speak now, or forever hold your peace. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. 'Cause when I learned to cry, I cried. Even when I feel like I'm alone, I know I'm not alone. I know this is not your home. So speak know there's so many different things going on, and to talk about current issues. And sometimes I feel like you guys come here to get away. You know, there was a recent content creator who was talking about how this has been the worst year of her life, you know, and we feel for people so many difficult things. And there seems to be a disagreement between her and another content creator. And you know, we always like to look at it from 50,000 feet, you know, looking at it from a broader issue. And I think it's interesting because sometimes we can feel a certain powerlessness. So we feel like if we say something, you know, it just kind of goes into the air, and we kind of forget that we're talking about people with real lives and real experiences. And it's hard because sometimes sometimes people are just speaking about something that they think is an important issue. But then there's that element of, well, how is it impacting those who are the subject of this conversation, you know? And so I wonder what you guys think about that. Have you been yet the subject of, you know, certain conversation and felt hurt by what people were saying? Give a like to the live, by the way. It always really helps. And leave your comments. Sometimes we'll respond in the live. Sometimes we'll respond in a subsequent one. But I want to thank also again, you know, people who follow us, like people in the public eye, like Naomi Campbell, Kathy Ireland, supermodel Nikki Taylor, supermodel Iman's Cosmetics Company for giving likes of our music, Christy Turlington for giving likes of our music. Those who have really stepped out and, you know, and don't care what other people say. All of our followers, especially on TikTok. That's another subject. What do you think about the discussion of TikTok being banned? TikTok, you know, no longer being there. Connections that you've made, how you're going to stay in touch with people that you were there. We had so many people that we love so much on TikTok. Of course, we hope they follow us on other platforms. Hope they come here, that we can still stay in touch. But have you thought about that? Have you thought about people that you've connected with and what will happen the day after if it gets banned? You know, we don't know what the final outcome will be, but have you made, you know, provisions for that? Have you thought about that? So that's a whole nother thing. But we're so grateful for those who follow model poetry. It's like they're just usually a different group of people. They think differently. They don't wait for others. And it's amazing how people go into modelpoetry.com. And of course, if you send us an email through the site, we'll be more aware of you that way as well. And if you comment on the live, we can talk, you know, about your comment on another live or maybe later in the current live. So I would love to know what you guys think. What do you think about the feuding content creators? What's happening with them? The California wildfires, there's so much going on. Now people have different conspiracy theories about it. What do you think about that? Do you buy into any of the conspiracy theories about what's going on? Do you think that it's very far-fetched, or do you kind of believe what people are saying? What are your thoughts on that? You know, put a 1 in the chat if, you know, if just thinking about the people. Controversies are not something that would engage people. Would love to know your thoughts. So let me sing a little bit more, then we're going to go on to some more topics. When you're walking out there and you see what is true, how do the words come to you? I gave so much now, feel like you let me down. She whispered to someone she wants you. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. Speak to me, speak to me. Tell me what you'll do. You feel blue, and speak to me. Tell me what you do when you're feeling blue. But please speak now. You'll forever hold your peace. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. So you guys, I'm so glad that, with Model Poetry, modelpoetry.com, whether it's the site or coming to our lives, you can just come here and feel comfortable and, either share your thoughts or just know that you are around other people who think deeply and think differently. And you can just come and relax. And, we ask the question a lot, are you depressed? And we know there are so many people that deal with that question. And there's so much discussion about what's going to be happening with the economy. Let's talk about that for a second. Because, you might have an idea. And I know there needs to be legislation that helps to protect people. Guardrails for people who are in need in different kinds of ways. Just on a creative level. Also remember that you might have an idea or a thought or something that can be worth millions, and you're kind of holding on to it. But if you have something, people talk about solving a problem. I don't know if I always agree with that. They say that's really when you have a business, when you're solving a problem. And I guess that could be always accurate. But if you have something that serves people, it could be little colors you make with crayon. It could be little drawings that you do. It could be shoelaces that you create, songs that you create, food that's cooked in a different way. that is still very appetizing to people, yet it helps their health. Speaking of which, if you go to modelpoetry.com, you'll see a lot of beautiful places in the Finger Lakes, upstate New York, and it's just a growing community. We're so grateful to the many companies that are reaching out to us. They want model poetry to promote them. It's such an honor, and we're so grateful, and we're so grateful for how so many are coming to Model Poetry, modelpoetry.com, and just engaging with us. And again, we're so thankful. Thank you to all the celebrities that follow us, like MC Hammer, the Stan Lee Foundation, CBS's show, The Good Fight, the people that have, endorsed us, like supermodel Andy McDowell, supermodel Ayan Elmi, supermodel Uba Hassan, StevenT, superstar Alfre Woodard. So poetry has really become a place where people in the public eye, or people who have a future impacting people in the public eye, or who just impact their friends, who are like the leader amongst their friends. Because I know you guys are leaders, whether you're the celebrities that watch us. We were so happy when Doja Cat put us on her Instagram. We really weren't even prepared, but it's such a blessing that people are looking out for us and that people are interested in what we're doing. So, but I know that all of the people that like modelpoetry.com are leaders, whether they have millions of followers or no followers at all. But just in their daily life, they could just be going about their business in the supermarket, and something about the way they carry themselves makes other people interested, makes other people kind of watch them and look to them for what are they doing, or what are they interested in, what are they reading, what are they wearing. And we're so glad that model poetry has become a place really for leaders to gather, get ideas, or sometimes just relax, So it's really wonderful. And going to modelpoetry.com, and again, thank you to all the companies reaching out to us. We are overwhelmed, but we are very, very grateful for the number of companies that reach out to us and want us to promote their brands. And we're very selective, but we're trying as much as we can. So you guys, I wanted to talk to you about that though. If you have a book that you're writing, or this and that, not necessarily a grand thing, and this is not going to be for everyone, because I know in some cases we just have to have guardrails in society where people who are in need or who are having financial trouble have some help. There's some basics that we just need, and we can all need help at different times. But on a creative level also, if you go deep inside yourself, there's something there. We all have something that we're meant to do to serve others. So if you can find it, and I know it's a challenge, I know it's easier said. It's not always a grandiose thing like writing a book and becoming a bestseller. It's not always those things that people talk about. It could be something very, very subtle. It could be some kind of like a vegetable dish that you cooked. And, your family and your friends just always comment on it in a particular way. You just, when you get that response, you think there's something here, or you post these little drawings online and you see other people with millions and millions of followers. But for some people, they just stop at your drawings, and there's a particular kind of response that they elicit. And that's another thing. There are so many people who have thousands or hundreds of thousands, millions or hundreds of millions of followers, and they are not as powerful as you are. And you should not forget that, because a lot of larger accounts look at smaller accounts for ideas. Don't you know that in one of our recent lives, You see our lives, 3 views, 4 streams, 5 streams, but they're streamed by some of the most powerful people in the world. And it's confirmed to us recently. We said in one of our lives, don't you think that there are people in the public eye who are basically crying? Some of them very, very wealthy people, but their public posts or public conversations are basically about them crying about how they were treated in high school. And this is not to make a criticism, really, because whether you're left, right, progressive, conservative, Democrat, Republican, whatever you see yourself as, we're speaking about larger issues. And I remember a teacher one time saying, we were talking about something that could be described as a political or a racial issue or something. And the teacher kind of smiled and was like, it's just their way of crying. And I really didn't understand what they were saying back then. It's taken time, but over the years I've begun to understand that when people get heated about racial issues or political issues or, all these, it's not that there aren't real impacts on society that need to be monitored and looked at and legislation that needs to be, revised. It's just that young people who become either hateful or very resentful, or it becomes their whole identity, their political, that's just people's ways of crying. And now I see what that teacher was saying. So you see people in the political discourse, in the public eye, who are basically crying about how they were treated in high school. And how does this come back to the leadership that we were talking about and bigger accounts, looking at smaller accounts? I saw someone who I think they got a lot of views on it was either a TikTok or some kind of a post, and they were saying the same thing, but I believe it was after what we had posted. And I was like, wow. So you create something, you have 2, 3, 4, 5 streams. And yes, like I said, admittedly, it's really celebrities and people in the public eye that watch us, but it could also be some big accounts that we don't know are watching. And they take, an idea and they run with it. So you might have 0 followers, 2 followers, 3 followers, and I've said this before, and you think you are nothing. You feel like you are nothing. And you go online and they're constantly telling you about, this is the most powerful account on Instagram, blah, 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 blah. This is a human being. This is a human being. In many cases, who got their start somehow connected to mainstream media, if you really look at their history. Not all, but many. So it was either a major publishing house that they were connected to, or a major record company, or a television show. That's how they got their start. So you're comparing yourself to somebody whose media started back in like the 1800s in some cases. And you started maybe a year or 2 ago. And they literally have hundreds of years of work behind them to get where they are, because that publishing company or that music company or that, television show had hundreds of years of a head start, and they put their weight behind that influencer or that person or that celebrity. And you're comparing yourself to them when you are an entrepreneur. If you have 0 followers and you are presenting your sketch work online, your sketches, your color, your coloring, artistic coloring presentations, your songs, your clothing, and you have 0 followers, you're an entrepreneur. You're somebody who has a lot of faith, I believe, in a lot of ways, to believe that you can go and start, and you're going to be quote unquote competing, although that's a whole nother conversation, because I really believe we compete that way. What you have is unique, What you have is special, and when you truly delve into your own gifts, nobody can compete with you. So you are an entrepreneur, you are on a different level when you are starting something today, this year, the last 5 years, the last decade, the last 20 years, when others that are in the public eye have the weight of hundreds of years of work and exposure and money behind them. Don't you give up. Don't you take the fact that you have 1, 2, or 3 followers behind you as thinking that you're a failure or somehow inadequate. Because those 1, 2, or 3 views, sometimes they are also people with a lot of influence who are watching you. And they're getting ideas from you, and they have the money to finance it. Now, like I said, the celebrities, the people in the public eye that watch us are actually very creative people and generous people who have their own ideas and who try to help other artists get out there. You know, if you want to talk about somebody like Andy McDowell, beautiful woman, absolutely beautiful in person, and just a generous person who has her own ideas. And she's looking to uplift other content creators, other thinkers. But there are also those who, even though they have the hundreds of millions behind them, they're going to smaller accounts to get ideas. So the celebrities that watch us, they're the ones that have full lives. They have full lives. They have had so much success that they are saying, I already have my own ideas. I already have my own following. How can I help somebody else? And they do that. Look at Doja Cat. She didn't have to put us on her Instagram. She has plenty of attention, but she wanted to give to others. And if you look at her Instagram, I've seen other stories that she's had where she's promoted unknowns. She's put them in her Instagram. I mean, that's very generous. Look at Naomi Campbell, beautiful woman who you guys know we adore. And little secret, people in our community know this, but she was really the first celebrity of at her level to follow us on social media. And the way she did it was a whole different way. You know, it is a longer story for another day, but she's just an amazing woman. And I believe that generosity that people have is actually because I was looking at something, and I think it was either about her, and it was like, why is Naomi Campbell still relevant? Now, I don't like that word relevant. I mean, as human beings, who has the right to say someone is irrelevant? They're a human being. I don't think God sees them. I know God doesn't see them as irrelevant. I don't believe so. So, for us to describe them as irrelevant. But just for the discussion of this article, they were saying that, why is she still relevant? They used that word. And I just thought that was so interesting. And I can just imagine if Naomi Campbell did that kindness for us, totally unknown at the time. Still, of course, working on things to raise awareness about what we're doing. But imagine all the unknowns that she's helping that you would never know, because she wasn't doing it with us for accolades. She's doing it for people she imagines it's possible they may never be known, but she still wants to help them. She still wants to give them an opportunity. She still hopes for them, to have some of the great experiences that she's had. So, I think that's another point when you're thinking about, because I know it's leaders who are drawn to what we're doing. And if you're commenting, love you guys so much. Just focused on this point, but we look at the comments, read some of your comments, and mention them in an ensuing live, like with Miss Chicken Sandwich, who said, I love you, so sweet. Elizabeth, who we talked about, Anita, who we've talked about before, so many of you guys who are so generous with your likes and with your comments and with your engagement. We love you guys so much. So if we don't comment on your comment during the live, we might comment on a subsequent live, or respond to your comments later. So thank you guys so much. But yeah, so remember those things. When people try to make you feel insignificant based on numbers, that's the new thing today. That's the new thing today, that, social media was something to level the playing field. But then some who have wealth and influence try to use it again to make a disproportionate advantage for those who already have wealth and power, by saying, oh, look at this person. They have hundreds of millions of followers. Well, how are you supposed to feel when you have 3 followers and they're telling you, oh, this person has 300 million, like you don't even matter? And that is not the case. Keep doing what you're doing. I saw recently someone who had a very modest following, but he has interviewed, or he has engaged with, interacted with people all over the world. And he was interviewing the wife of a very, very prominent figure. And I was like, wow, he has such a modest, such a modest or low number of followers. And he was sitting down with this, person of the wife of a prominent person who's in the news today on a daily basis. And I was like, wow, you don't have to have a quote unquote big following to live a big and fulfilled life, an exciting life. And that can be interviewing the wife of a world leader who herself has her own ideas, or it can be, picking vegetables in your garden. That can be a very big and bold, beautiful life, that you're not spending your days doing things that you don't love to do, but you're out there holding, the squash, holding the vegetables, holding the corn in your arms that you grew. And that can be something very beautiful and exciting. Again, go to modelpoetry.com. You'll see a lot of the sustainable companies. You'll see a lot of people who love natural and organic products. And you'll see many of the celebrities who have followed us or endorsed us. And it's amazing how we just continue to grow and grow. And it's just celebrities, purely celebrities, who, like, other people will laugh. They'll be like, what are you guys doing? What is this about? LOL. But leaders always stop at model poetry. They're always like, what is this? What is this? They always get it. They always connect. They'll watch to the end of the videos. They'll be the one. There was this sweet girl on TikTok, and she was watching one of our TikToks, and she wrote in the comments, she was like, this is going on and on. And I was like, wow. Even in her critique, she's a sweetheart, because by saying that, she's admitting that she's still watching. Maybe that particular TikTok, she wanted it to be a little bit shorter, but she was still watching, loyally to the end of it. And I'm just, what a beautiful group of people that watch model poetry, that engage with us. Love you guys so much. So yeah, definitely want to encourage you. Don't let yourself be distracted by people telling you that your numbers are too low, you don't matter, you're never going to make it. Some people get monetized on YouTube in 6 days, some people in 6 years, some people in 10 years, it takes 10 years or more. And we have more stories to tell you, but let me sing a little bit more. Walked into this way that I saw and walked into this hour, and I know that I was growing this way. Still, this only hurt that I said that. I didn't know the words, I regret that. I was simply feeling this way. I felt like I could tell you my stories for sure. I felt like I could tell you my stories more and more. So speak now and forever hold your peace. Speak now and forever hold your peace. Speak to me. Speak now and forever hold your peace. Your peace. Speak now and forever hold your peace. So you guys, you might have really made it clear, had it made clear to you that this year really is going to be different, and that you're going to see things differently and experience things differently. And things that you thought were possible before, but the year came and went, this year will be different for you. And so keep that faith, the faith, like the Bible says, of a mustard seed. Keep that faith and keep believing in the things that you want to do. As long as you're doing the right thing, you're loving people, you're doing things to serve. We believe, like the Bible says, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. And I think it's amazing that Jesus put, and I'm paraphrasing, as yourself. I don't want to give you the wrong words, but I'm trying to use the words that I read or remember the words as closely as I can. But that is so important. I think the way that you treat yourself does resonate more than we think. It's not only when people say you teach others how to treat you, because I've always thought that was kind of strange. People should know how to treat you. Anybody who you really want to spend a lot of time with on a day-to-day basis, you would hope that they would want to treat you well, And we're all learning. We definitely want, our family in our lives, our friends in our lives, and we're all growing. We all be forgiven for the things that we don't know. But just also remember to treat yourself well also. We talk about bullying. We ask the question, are you depressed? And we talk about bullying too. And bullying can come from a coworker, it can come from somebody in school, but I think sometimes it can come from yourself. You're in a situation where maybe somebody's being unkind to you, but are you being kind to yourself? And this is never to blame somebody that's in a tough situation. Sometimes situations, and of course this is not professional advice, these are just our opinions. Make sure you're of age to watch the live, all of those things. But I know situations are hard to get out of or dangerous to get out of, but very complicated. But as much as we can, right? As much as we can, we have to try to be kind to ourselves as much as we can. And you'll see how that reframes your relationships with others. And we have to remember to be kind to others as well. You hear of that person in school giving somebody a hard time. and they don't understand how later in their lives, how that will impact them. You know, again, we all want forgiveness. We all pray for forgiveness. Just don't go around giving people a hard time and think that it won't impact you. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. So, love you guys so much. So glad that, you know, again, that we have this space. So glad people are going to modelpoetry.com and just spending time there, looking at different things, seeing the different places in the Finger Lakes, the places that are sustainability oriented, those who love natural and organic products, seeing the celebrities, you know, like Naomi Campbell, who you know follows us, or Doja Cat, who put us in on her Instagram, and just people who, you know, we have people on our site too who have just a handful of followers or fewer, but they're just leaders and they're just thinking of how they can impact others. We're amazed at the people that are going to modelpoetry.com. We're amazed at the kind of community that's being developed, the way people are reaching out to us to promote their products, and the way you guys are coming to Model Poetry with such warmth. I think we attract some of the best people, some of the most amazing, loving people. And of course, when I say best, we are all as human beings trying to do our best. But we're so glad that you come here as a respite. You come here to rest, to listen, you know, to engage. And if you commented on this live or on some of our videos, we might mention you, like we've mentioned Miss Chick Sandwich or Elizabeth or Anita, you know, on our future lives. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to take it out with a little bit of a song. Hope you give a thumbs up. Not only is it great for the live, but it'll make you feel so good that you did something. Even if you didn't do anything else you liked today, you give a thumbs up. You helped a positive message to go out there. So love you guys so much. See you next time. Here's a little song. Standing at the riverbank, my heart is so full of thanks. Look to heaven. Thank you over and over. Walking through the sand, knowing I have been through so many things. Heaven has brought me through. I want the same for you, in that I feel this love, and I let go of things that hurt. I know it's time for me, and I invite with my mind the loving things I see, and oh, I've had enough for now. Had enough breaking down, and oh, I've cried. It's a lovely time. So speak now, or forever hold your peace. Speak to me. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. This track is Whispers of Romance, you guys. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. Love you guys so much. All right, guys, love you so much, and we'll see you next time.